Hello, welcome to Mitch's Rant Time, the show where I talk and you listen. Today I'm going to talk about a fallacy, and this is going to be something I'd like to do regularly, maybe every week, every so many weeks, and I like to call it Fun with Fallacies. It'll be an episode where I go over a philosophical or argumentative fallacy and try to explain it a little better. It's because I have used them myself, and I come across them all the time in debate on social media with other people when I ran for office. So it's something I like to handle. I mean, I see it too all the time in political debates and in other people's YouTube videos. And I know people too bring up fallacies all the time, and I thought maybe I could help explain it because I know that a lot of people who are actually busy debating are too busy debating to have to sit and explain to a lot of your average viewers who may not understand a certain fallacy or might not get why it doesn't work. So today I thought I'd go over one that I brought up multiple times, one that I cannot stand. It's the false dichotomy. Now, a false dichotomy, there are multiple facets of it and things that are like a false dichotomy that are different fallacies but are similar. But a false dichotomy is pretty much, it's an absolute dilemma. It's a false dilemma. It's saying that you have either one choice or the other. You're either this or that. You're either with me or you're against me. Our political system, our modern political system, is a false dichotomy in the United States. You're either Republican or Democrat, and you can be independent, libertarian, Green Party, constitutionalist, whatever, and have different views, but they always say, well, you're either liberal or conservative, Democrat or Republican, and that's obviously not the case. And they'll use that to then kind of make a false, kind of a false spectrum or false extremes a lot of times too, which is not quite a false dichotomy. We'll get into that another time. We'll get into it later in this video. But the way a false dichotomy works is in an argument, especially when someone doesn't have a good argument, doesn't understand, or is so dogmatically believes in what they're saying, they make it one way or the other. You're either with me or against me. You either agree with me or you're a bad person, an idiot, you don't know anything, you want the terrorists to win, you're a communist, you're a stupid religious person, you're immoral, whatever. You hear it all the time. In the argument with, say, any religious person like a Muslim or a Christian about religion, they'll say, well, where is morality without God? Saying either you're religious and you're one of those religions and you believe in a higher power, so you're moral, or you don't and you're immoral, which is a false dichotomy. It's saying you're one way or the other. And they'll have a ton of bullshit arguments and kind of backwards which way talk to bring itself back to fit the false dichotomy. An example I like to throw out to people when they ask me about this, when we talk about it, is I call it the soda dichotomy, which is Pepsi and Coke, which I think is good. And it's something I've noticed too in all of my experience. Anytime you have two really good companies or two really good sellers of an idea or product, and I consider political parties to be sellers of ideas and products, there's always a red and blue. It's always red and blue in America. And then you can just use the red and blue example as well for colors. But it goes like this. You either love Pepsi or you love Coke. Someone would say, well, I don't like either. Okay, so you don't love Pepsi, therefore you love Coke. No, I just don't like it. Someone else would come in and say, well, I don't really love either one. I like them both equally. So you admit you like Coke. Yes. Therefore you love Coke. You don't love Pepsi. You love Coke. You come in and say, well, I love them both. I think they're both amazing. Okay, then you either love Pepsi or love Coke. You cannot love both. They don't work together. Someone were to come in and say, well, I actually love Dr. Pepper. And for argument's sake, we'll say that they're owned by Pepsi. And say, oh, well, you love Dr. Pepper. Well, Dr. Pepper is owned by Pepsi, so you love Pepsi. Or they would say, well, Dr. Pepper, in reality, they would say, well, Dr. Pepper is just stealing from Pepsi, therefore you must love Coke. Or, they're stealing customers from Pepsi, therefore you must love Coke. If it's not loving Pepsi, therefore you must love Coke, one way or the other. And Mountain Dew actually would fit into that that last example of, well, I love Mountain Dew instead. Well, Mountain Dew is owned by Pepsi, therefore you love Pepsi. It's conflating based on string thin similarities or really weird similarities. The same could be said of the color example is another good one. You either love red or blue. I don't like red or blue. I don't have a favorite color. Okay, then you must love blue, because if you don't admit that you love red, you must love blue. You have to pick one. You say, well, I like red and blue both. I like them equally. I think they make a great color together. Okay, say my favorite color is purple. I like them both. Well, you either love red or blue. Say that, my favorite color is black. I don't like red or blue. Well, then you must love blue because you don't love red. And this is, of course, arguing from red. You say, well, I love yellow. Well, yellow is derivative from red. Therefore, you must love red. It's false. It's a ton of fallacies coming around. False equivalencies, illogical conflating, generalizations, kind of false spectrums, false extremes. All of that goes into a false dichotomy. And there are multiple types of false dichotomies too. There are even false trichotomies, and as you go, only 3 or only 1, and typically only 1. Also, a false dichotomy would also be that, because it's saying you're either this way or you're not. You love it or hate it, and it just creates a lot of problems, because a lot of times everything is not black and white. Everything is not one way or the other, and you see this all the time arguing with anyone. You argue with, say, a gynocentric modern feminist, and they would say, well, either you're a misogynist or you're a feminist. And you say, no, I'm an egalitarian. I believe in equality. I just don't agree with you necessarily on your generalization or on your views that all men don't rape. All your men rape people. You're arguing with conservatives. They say, well, either you're a conservative, constitutionalist American, either you love America, conservatism, or you're some commie bastard who just wants a new world order and a leftist. And that's not true. You can be a libertarian. You can be someone in the Green Party. You can be independent. You can be a mishmash. You can be a constitutionalist. They don't like constitutionalists either, because a real constitutionalist will bring the Constitution into the argument, and they won't know what to do. It's the same way with a lot of times. Progressives aren't as bad, but they'll do that too. You get that everywhere. Religion, even certain philosophies. Not as much. It's more of people who don't understand philosophy that try to bring in logic and philosophy. But it happens. It's a terrible thing to see. It's annoying. And it's something that everyone has to deal with. I just thought I'd help you guys be more aware. Bring up more false dichotomies in the comments. I'll bring up some if you guys want. We can do some exercises. I'll probably retouch on it again later. Just so you know, I have no problem with any of these groups necessarily. I don't identify with most of the groups I brought up, except for egalitarianism and libertarianism and constitutionalism. But even then, I don't necessarily identify there. I think that everybody has a right to their own views and their own degrees of views. So false dichotomies don't work. Neither do false extremes. And I'll get on false extremes another night. Thank you for listening. If you like anything I had to say, please leave a like. If you have anything to say, please comment. Like I said, I sometimes can get mean, but it's the only way we can grow, talking with each other. I celebrate free speech, and I think it should be free speech all around. Uh, if, of course, you want to see more videos of me, whether it's this, whether it's me gaming, doing anything, other stuff I'd like to bring to the table, please subscribe, and hope to see you again. Thank you. Have a good night, and stay cool.